Well, someone who's been raising the alarm about possible lottery corruption for years now is journalist and fact-checking expert Raymond Joseph. He's written a number of exposés on the matter, and he joins me now. Ray, you've been absolutely dogged in your determination, to get to the bottom of this issue, and really a credit to your profession. I wonder what your reaction was when you heard that the National Lotteries Commission offices were being raided this morning. What were your feelings?
Well, a combination of jubilation, relief, and I feel vindication because I've been attacked, my family's being attacked, I've been defamed, been court cases, and I felt good. I can't lie.
Now, we understand that they were seizing documents relating from the period 2014 up to November this year. Does that coincide with the stories that you've exposed and the issues that you've been investigating with lotteries?
Pretty much so. It also almost coincides when Philemon Letwaba, the COO of the lottery, who is now on suspension, had joined the lottery. And so just very brief background. What you need to understand is in 2015, the Lotteries Act was changed, and this is crucial to it. So what happened there is previously any application for funding, any funding was applications driven. You had to apply. The change in the law for proactive funding meant the minister, the Lotteries Board, or the Lotteries Commission could decide on a worthy cause worth funding, appoint service providers and basically leave them to get on with it. And a lot of them never got on with it. They just made off with the money.
You know, I understand that 2 other probes have recently been conducted. There's one that was commissioned by the board of the Lotteries Commission, and apparently that's an independent probe. The other by the Trade, Industry and Competition Minister. Those reports are not yet finalised, is my understanding. Why do you think this raid went ahead before those reports were released?
Sally, I'm not sure who Barry was talking to there earlier, but that person was not telling the entire truth. So the lottery commissioned an investigation into itself. The investigators reported to the board, and I guess they framed the final report. It bounced back and forth between the minister and the Lotteries Commission, and eventually the minister lost patience. That's what happened. And he appointed his own investigation, which has led so far to one matter being handed over to the Hawks for investigation, 3 more completed, about to be handed over, and several more ongoing. Besides the proclamation a few weeks ago, what the Hawks did is they set up a special unit under which they have consolidated all criminal complaints against the lottery. Because what has happened over the last few years is people who have laid complaints with police against the lottery, those complaints have just disappeared. They've never been investigated. It's a typical story of what happened with state capture. Complaints and nothing happens. And so that's it's but disingenuous to say they investigated. They investigated themselves, and they effectively cleared themselves.
Right.
And the officials.
So Ray, lottery funds, we know that millions of South Africans play the lottery, and money that isn't won is then used for good causes, and it supports so many different things, and it really could be a wonderful way, and should be a wonderful way, of raising funds for good causes. But tell us a little bit about some of the investigative work you have done and the sorts of things that you seem to have uncovered that could possibly, we know not yet, but could possibly lead to criminal cases.
So one of the areas that I focused on was the funding by the National Lotteries Commission under proactive funding into big infrastructure projects. And I traveled the length and the breadth of this country and looked at numerous of these projects. And what I found is half-finished projects that had ground to a halt because the money had run out, even though tens of millions of rands had been allocated. What was really sad is small service providers, brickies, electricians, plumbers who'd done small jobs hadn't been paid. We're talking about old age homes, we're talking about drug rehabs, we're talking about athletics tracks, we're talking about museums, we're talking about combi courts, it goes on. Look, suffice to say, from what I have personally seen, it is running into hundreds of millions of rands. The lottery is as transparent as a toilet window. You don't get information out of them. I believe it's far bigger and it runs into millions. I also don't believe we will ever know the full extent of what has happened. There's just not the capacity to investigate every single project. But whatever money can get got back and given to good causes, it's important that that be done. And a message being sent out that public money is for the good of the public, not for the good of individuals.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Raymond Joseph. And of course, he's a journalist and fact-checking expert, and he has, over the years, done a lot of probes into how lottery money is spent.